Well, we're live, but I'm waiting for at least one person to show up. Um, there's a presidential debate going on. I should have started this like in the very beginning, but you know, I'm see. There's a way I can put a poll on here. If there's anybody who wants to be a moderator, let me know. Okay. Um, let's see. I'm trying to find, oh, I don't know, somewhere on here you can, here we go, start a poll. Hold on. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about the okay, I put the poll in here. And if you see the poll, then you can you can vote. But it's not letting me actually vote. So I wanted to. Oh, well, it's a poll. I can't do the. They're talking about Roe v. Wade right now, and okay, when it comes to abortions, number one, I'm a Republican. I'm pro-life, pro-choice. Pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump, if you can't already tell. There is no reason anybody should have an abortion. This is just my beliefs. And everybody should think this way also. Just because you're raped, just because you had incest, or you're molested and you become pregnant due to that, that baby didn't ask to be there. So the responsible thing to do is have the baby, give it up for adoption so someone out there can adopt it. There's no reason to kill that baby because that baby didn't do that. But that baby's there because God put it in your stomach. So therefore, you should be able to take your responsibility and give that baby a good life. Give it off to someone that wants to take care of it. Why do you got to go killing things all the time? I mean, that's ridiculous. 4 years ago. Hi, whoever popped in, please leave a comment. Let me know who you are. We're talking about the presidential debate, and I was just talking about the Abortion Act and how I don't think, unless your life is on the line, that you could lose your life because, say, the baby didn't, well, they just left. So the baby didn't, is going to develop wrong, or in the fact of that the girl could lose her life. She could die if she carries it to term. And that's even debatable because I know somebody that was told not to have any more kids. Well, she got pregnant and she took the risk and she had the baby and she lived. So doctors, they know a lot of stuff, but they can't predict your future. They can't predict that they know you're going to die. I mean, they know a lot of stuff, but they can't play God. So as far as abortion, my eyes is that so I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal but here's the effects of Trump versus Harris. Harris hasn't showed anything. She was supposed to be responsible for the border, and she hasn't done anything. That woman just sat around for 4 years and did nothing. You tell me one thing that she's done, and I'll wait. Because I'll be waiting a long time. economy. Okay, they were talking about the economy. Were they better 4 years ago, or were they better when Trump was in office? Whether you like Trump or not, you have to agree with me that Trump's uh, inflation was like zero. We were able to afford eggs, cereal, gas, any chicken, bacon, all the stuff that's on the shelf, and it was always on the shelf. You never could go. You never had to go to the store and say, "Where did it all go?" All the groceries are off the shelves. You couldn't. There was points where you couldn't get chicken, you couldn't get eggs, and if you found it, they wanted the prices of inflation had skyrocketed. Everything, gas, everything. Now, I'm not a political person. I just believe really strongly Trump is who we need. He knows how to get things done, and whether you like him or not, it's not who you like, who you don't like, as far as their personalities and how they are. You need to vote on. You got to look at Trump's presidential campaign when he was in office. You got that 4 years, and then you go to the 4 years of Biden's administration. Biden's administration uh, made everything skyrocket to where we could not afford groceries anymore. Under the Trump administration, we'll be able to afford our food again. And that's what we were talking about right now. If you come in and you see my live, leave a comment below. Who you are, and if anybody wants to be a moderator, let me know. I'm trying to see if someone does comment. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how you can make comments. I can't see no comments, so I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I don't know what happened, but we're back. I was actually trying to figure out where the chats are. Including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney, Congress member Liz Cheney. And I'm just going to end the poll. But the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already. Nobody actually voted, so well, you kind of have to have people to come in on the live for you. I might wait to see if I see anybody come in. If nobody comes in shortly, I'm just going to end this because we're like 8 minutes in and nobody's popped in. So, people could be asleep too. It depends on where you're at in the world. But under the Biden administration, our gas prices went through the roof. We couldn't afford groceries. Inflation was as high as it's ever been in American history. As far as abortion goes, I believe that there should be no reason that you give an abortion. And I feel very strongly of this, and if you think about it, you'll agree too, that the only time that it's, and this is even debatable, because doctors aren't God. Hey, sweetheart. That was Harley, my bunny. The only time that would be even debatable if you give an abortion or not is if the doctor says you're going to die if you carry it to full term. And at that point, I would be like, well, I need you to show me some results. Something to show me proof that what you're saying, and it backs up what you're saying. Why would you think that, and all this stuff? Incest, rape, molestation, any of that, there's no reason I'm sorry, but there's no reason to have an abortion for that. You carry it to term, you give it to somebody. There's people out there like me that can't have kids and would die to have a child of their own. Give it to someone that loves them. I know you say it's going to rip your body and you're carrying something that uh, didn't mean it wasn't out of love and was forced on you and all this stuff. I understand that. And that's horrible. I was raped myself, okay? So I understand what you're saying, but I never got pregnant. Um, but if I would have had the baby, and I would have just turned my head so I didn't. The best way to do that is that way you don't see the baby, because then there's people who even have the babies from a rape or incest, and they love that child just like any other child that they would have. So there's really no reason to have an abortion unless it threatens your life, and that doctor better have proof on uh, what's going on at that point, to make them think that you could die if you carry it to full term. Rape, incest, molestation, any of that stuff, that's still no reason to have an abortion. You give it up for adoption, take care of it while it's in your stomach, and go to the hospital, have the baby, and then get some postnatal care, just have the baby like normal and give it up for adoption. But there's no reason to kill that baby, because that baby didn't ask to be there. God seeded it in your tummy, in your stomach, in your womb. So therefore, that baby didn't ask to be there. It's not their fault that it's there. But because it's there for a reason, God helped you have a womb so you could carry a baby. Now, okay, it was forced on you. I understand it. I know that can be horrible, but you still can give that child a chance to live. Why should you kill that child? The child didn't do nothing. It's the person that did that to you, that made you pregnant, did that to you. I think if anybody should die, it should be the person that raped you, or molestation, or incest. I think they're the ones that need to be jailed and have life in prison, or the death sentence. You shouldn't kill the baby, because the baby didn't do nothing to you. That baby did nothing to you. It did nothing wrong. It don't have a voice. It's the voiceless. Give it a chance to live. Give it to someone that might want the baby. Sorry, that's just an excuse. And then there's other people that wants to have abortions because they just want to lay down and have sex and don't take the responsibility for it. And oops, they turn up pregnant. I'll just have an abortion. That's ridiculous. That is not responsible. If you can lay down, you can take the responsibility for 9 months and have that baby. And if you don't want to, give it up for adoption again. But there's women out there, just whores, just whoring around, and every time they get pregnant, they get an abortion for no reason at all. That's ridiculous. That to me, they need to be castrated, because if that's what they're going to keep doing, keep having abortions, then they need to have their tubes tied, and so that if they want to whore around, they can do it all they want, and then they won't kill a baby in the midst. And people like that need to have their tubes tied, castrated, something. And in some countries, they cut their clitoris off, so the girl can't climax. And that still won't prevent you from getting pregnant, but I'm just saying, in some countries they do that. When a girl lays down and is not and is not wedded, like married, they'll cut the woman's clitoris off. It's kind of like a way for them to teach them a lesson. But Harris has nothing on this country. She was in charge of the border, and she didn't do anything. All these people come flying, and we have hundreds of millions of people from Mexico, China, that are killing this country, that are taking over cities, kicking people out of their own apartments, and they're, I think, what do they call it? Where they can legally go into your house and live there. And the cops cannot do a damn thing. I forget what it's called, but they come in your house and they I can't. If you think of the name of it, let me know. But they did it like in Florida, New York. It's just terrible. I mean, and then the people from Mexico are bringing all these drugs in here and killing our kids, and they don't. She thinks it's okay. She thinks it's all right for these people to come in our United States illegally. It's okay to come in the United States, but come in legally. That's the whole point.
I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States.
Yeah, she's going to ban fracking because they caught her on a hidden recorder or a video or something that she said she's gonna ban fracking. And fracking, I don't know the whole download of what fracking is, but I know it has something to do with oil or something like that. But Trump, whether you like him or not, let's say you don't like him, right? And you're undecided, or even you want to vote for Harris because you just don't like Trump. But that's not how to vote. You need to vote on the policies. You know, what did Trump do for 4 years? Everything he did, he said he was going to do, and he went through it all. So, Harris was responsible at the border. She didn't do anything. She never went to the border, not one time. And these people are coming in millions of thousands, destroying these people's countries. This country, they're just destroying it. Bringing in illegal drugs, killing our kids. That is a sore spot for me. It's based on long-standing work that I have done. That's not how you run a country. There is a wall for a reason. And the reason for the wall is to keep the illegals out. And half of the illegals, they bring in their mobs, and they smuggle these drugs into. If you got an open border, they can legally walk right from their country to ours, have a shitload of drugs, and bring it in, and it kills our kids. And that hits home for me. You got to vote Trump. Whether you like him or not, guys. He is nothing but wants this country to thrive and get better. And he's going to reduce inflation. And under his administration, we had no wars. We had like 3 or 4 wars when Biden went into office. And it was rigged at that. It was rigged. Anybody thinks it's not rigged? They had showed so much proof how rigged it was. And it was like they didn't care because they had already said that Biden was the president and blah, blah, blah. We got to get Biden, or we got to get Trump to get into office again. He's going to do a great job. Like I said, don't vote because of who you like or who you don't like. That's not what it's about. What it's about is Trump did great his 4 years. Absolutely wonderful. And I didn't know the difference between Republican and Democrat. But think about it, the word Democrat. You take the first three letters, D-E-M. All you got to do is add an O-N, demon. They are evil. They hate this country, and they're trying to destroy it for you. Do you want your country destroyed? If you do, go ahead and vote for Harris. But Trump loves his country. He took a bullet for this country. So after you've seen someone trying to kill this man, they've tried every way there is to get him out, and they can't. The only way to do it is to kill him, and that's what they tried to do. And I'm watching the debate right now, and well, I'll tell you what, let's turn this around and let you all see it for yourself if you don't have it on your TV.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of the president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day. The officers...
It was an insurrection.
Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace.
I don't know if I can turn my screen long ways. Oh, okay. It won't let me.
What about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She was the one to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, well, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad...
Let me see if I can set the phone down and just let you guys watch it.
When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world, and crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when are those, David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle, they went into Seattle, they took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's...
There was no violent mob. Are you... She's out of her Lulu, man. She's wacko.
40 law enforcement officers were injured.
That's...
Some died.
A rally is not a mob, lady. There's a difference. A mob goes out and kills hundreds of people.
But this is not an isolated...
This is what I'm talking about. Man, she just comes up with the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
There was a mob of people carrying...
There ain't mob, lady. You know, I tell you what, I'd rip her apart if I was up there. I'd rip her from one end to the other.
there were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was,
I remember. It was a rally, you dumb bitch.
let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that
Yeah, well, you're not going back, but we need to go back because things were much better under the Trump administration.
for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the
You guys,
chaos,
look at underneath her throat. That don't look right.
approach that is about attacking.
It
the
almost looks like she has a
foundations of our
mask
democracy
on.
because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump.
Yeah, it looks like
has said in this
her
election
throat
that
don't
we
even
can
look
work
right.
with. If this and the outcome of this
It almost
election
looks
is
like
not
she has a
changed,
mask on.
Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back.
I mean,
Let's chart a
what
course
is that?
for the future and not
Here,
go
let me get my,
backwards to
let me
the past.
grab my phone real quick.
It was a different term, and it was a term
Look at her throat.
related to energy, because
It don't look right.
energy business, that was where Bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked.
Look at her throat.
Sean Hannity, Jesse, all
It almost looks like she's wearing a mask or something. Right there.
It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring
Ew, see that? It don't look right. I bet you she's like a robot or something.
these millions of people to come through on the southern border. How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed. Those people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election,
You didn't lose. He did not lose. It was rigged.
in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in
No, I
2020?
don't acknowledge that at all. I
You
say
did
that
say that.
sarcastically, you know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch. all of
Yep,
this
that's
video,
he's
they-
truth.
they
That's
said
truth right there.
lost by a whisker,
That is
didn't quite
truth.
make it. And we should
They're
go
letting
back
these
here
people in the
to
country because they said that they told these illegals, well, if we let you in our country, you got to vote for Harris, or get her in the presidency, and that's why there's open borders right now, because they say if you vote for me, I'll let you in. They'll be like, okay, no problem, and then they let them in, and that's if she wins, it's going to be because of that, because of the illegals. They should have a law a long time ago that you have to have a U.S. citizenship, no green card. Only if you were born and raised in America, then you can vote. Other than that, You should not. There should be no reason to even let them vote.
We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker, so he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about...
It was not won by them.
This was a post from...
It was rigged.
About this upcoming election just weeks
It
ago.
was rigged. There is so much evidence to prove it. It's just people pay people off. That's exactly what happened, and that's why they let them take over the president of the United States. They're fraudulent people, and
Donald
if we
Trump was fired by 81 million people.
no, he
So
was
let's
not
take credit
fired.
for that, and clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we
No.
cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell
There's
you
nothing. There was nothing fair about it, lady. When you and him, Biden, had rigged this election, there is nothing fair and free about that at all.
And they say you're a disgrace. And when
No, he is not a disgrace. You're a disgrace. Because you, as vice president, you haven't done shit. I'll tell you what, if I was up there debating her, I'd rip her from one end to the other.
It leads one to believe
I would rip her
we do not
from
have in the
arm to
campaign
arm.
the temperament.
When she left that debate stage, she would be in pieces.
About fact. That's deeply
And
troubling.
that's
Many
fact.
People deserve better.
Yeah, they do deserve better. Someone better than you.
Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men.
You never want to put a woman to be a president of the United States. Number one, they're not as... Women can be strong, but men just... Men know how to do things better when it comes to being a president. That's why we've had nothing but gentlemen as, you know, men for presidents.
Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president. But when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if you weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand if I'm okay with it because
Your time is
I think
up.
we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now
Yes.
to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages.
Now, I don't know how long this is going to be, but
Vice President Harris in
just
December
leave me a comment
Israel has a right
if
to
you
defend
can.
itself
I mean, there's no one even on here right now.
saying
So I'm going to end this. Nobody's popping in.
Israel must do more to protect
Um,
innocent civilians. You said that 9
just-
months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians.
Anyway,
are dead.
but if
Nearly
you're watching
100
this
hostages
and
remain. Just last week,
leave me a
Biden
comment
issued
on
the
who you
opposite.
plan on
There's
voting
gotta be
for
a
and why.
Biden has
And
not
if you're
been able to
undecided,
how would you do it?
you ask me a question and I will honestly tell you,
October 7th,
Hamas,
a terrorist organization,
and I will tell you
slaughtered 1,200 Israelis.
what
Many
the
of them
Democrats
young people
plan
who
on
were
doing
simply
and what
attending a concert.
Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, would do.
And
So,
absolutely, I said
that way
I said
maybe I can help you
Israel
decide.
has a right to defend itself. We would.
And I'll tell you
And how it
the
does
negatives
so
and the
matters.
positive
Because
of
it
what
is
question
also
you
true,
asked
far too many
about.
Innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children,
So,
mothers. What we know
anyway,
is
if
that
anybody watches, I appreciate it. Just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that anytime I upload, you'll be notified. And I normally do bunny related content, but since the debate is on there, I'm supporting my president, Trump. Absolutely love this man. Because, you know, he don't hold back. He says it how it is. And a lot of people can't handle on that, and they say that's why they don't like him. But the fact is, I'd rather someone to stand up on their 2 feet and, you know, whether it be good or bad, but he's going to tell you how it is, and he's going to be honest about it. And he's going to make America great again. Thanks for watching.
And also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza.
If I were president, it would have